Hello and welcome to another live stream. Today I am joined by the illustrious Bribri. Bribri, you want to look at the camera? Beepy? Beepy? Sometimes she looks at the camera, sometimes she does not. That's fine. But today we're going to be drawing in studio. I am Kelsey. I am a comic artist. I also have a cat in my lap. She is 15 years old and I love her to bits, even though she was a little hellion last night at 4 a.m. Cat. Now she settles and is looking very cute. Look at that face. I see your tail flicker. I see your tail flicker. Goodness. Okay. But that's not why you're here. You're probably here to watch me draw comics, which I am going to do that. And I'm also going to talk about the Ko-fi shop sale that I've got going on. So all of my prints on my Ko-fi shop are 50% off. I am clearing out all the old prints to make room for some new art. Just use the code New Year whenever you're checking out. The link for the sale is going to be in the YouTube description. If you're watching this on Twitch, head on over to youtube.com/c/KelseyD or Kelsey C. Or you can just Linktree. Linktree also has my YouTube link. But you got to use the link that's in the YouTube description and then use the checkout code New Year to get the discount code. Okay, with that, let's get to some comics. Okay. We're going to be doing some final touches for a new comic project I'm working on called New Punk Signal. Here we go. Okay. So this step, we're going to be adding shadows because all the color flats are done. We just got to add some shading to make it really pop and make it more dynamic. To make it a little bit easier, I tend to turn the color flat layer off just so I can see what I'm working with. All right, we're going to go to the ink layer and we're going to make a new layer above that one. Call it shades. Set the mode to multiply, 35% opacity, and there. And this might get a little tricky because I am now having to do this one-handed because Bribri, I need to show you this because for one thing, it's adorable. For another thing, this is kind of a pain in the butt. Bribri is insistent on holding my hand. Little miss. Little miss is insistent on holding my hand. So I cannot use this hand to do hotkey entries. So that's always fun, right? Hold on, I gotta... And adjusting the screen with one hand is always fun. Megan! This little cat. She's such a heathen. I also need to adjust the screen so that I can actually see what I'm doing. There we go. Add. Ooh. Hi, Jessica. Good to see you. Oh, the opacity. Oh, Carlos. Listening in while I work. I figured that this would be the work hour for most people, so I am happy to just idly chat away like I do. Fairly normal for these sorts of live streams. Okay, I do not remember what color I used for... Oh, are you done being in my lap, madam? She's done being in my lap. All right. I'm going to open up the previous comic strip because this strip I'm working on is actually number 2. New Punk Signal number 2. The first comic is already done. So I'm just going to go into that first comic to get the color reference that I need. There we go. I got the shadow color. Do not save the changes. Okay. use the lasso tool to get the general area that I wanted to shade in the background here because it's at an angle. Boop. Okay. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, but to me, it feels like adding shadows is actually a faster step in the comics making process than putting in the color flats. I don't know if that's true. I have not timed it myself, but it just feels like it. Okay. Like to zoom in and color in any little gaps. Because there's anti-aliasing and there's aliasing, but like too much anti-aliasing makes it look really jagged. But too little makes it look super duper blurry. So it's a fine line that you gotta walk. I'll take breaks on occasion to check the comments, but right now, just want to focus on the work. But it is nice to be streaming again, even twice a week. It's a good way to hold accountable on creative projects and also show you what new stuff I'm working on. Eventually, I will get a setup figured out so that you can watch while I do digital or traditional stuff. You're watching digital right now. But I would love to get a setup figured out so that you can see me work while I work on traditional art. As of right now, if I get a setup figured out, I'll do a test run on TikTok. And you can find my TikTok on my link tree. I'll get that link up on the screen for a second. Linktree/Kelsey D. Link is also in the doobly-doo if you're watching on YouTube. The TikTok link is like towards the bottom of the list because I have a lot of links on that link tree. But 50% off all prints. Actually, I'm going to take a second. For all of you Twitch watchers out there, I will add the sales link on my link tree so that it's a little easier for you to get to. And then yeah. Dude. There it is. I'm so glad that Ko-fi enabled discounts. I'm also really glad that I made the switch from Patreon to Ko-fi. I do have a Patreon page to run a sticker of the month club, but as far as like a exclusive members club where you can see and vote on secret projects and see comics works in progress and that sort of thing, I've moved all of that to Ko-fi. And I'm so glad I did that, honestly. 50% off all prints. Okay, the link has been added to the link tree. And I'll put that back up on the screen for all you folks who are watching on the Twitch. Boop. There we go. Today's mug is Help, It's Again. I got this for, I want to say my birthday. I know I got it last year. Today's tea selection is Earl Grey decaf with honey. Ooh, lurking while working. We are good for that sort of thing. I won't tell if you won't. If you got any questions for me or you want to ask me anything, just ask me anything. I will answer to the best of my ability. There we go. Okay. You know, I was actually watching a video before I started the live stream. I've been watching a lot of a YouTube channel called Cinema Therapy, where a filmmaker and a therapist sit down and watch movies together. And they talk about like the filmmaking and the therapy behind each of the movies that they look at. They did an episode about Luca, the Pixar movie, and that came out today. And even though I have not actually seen Luca, I went and watched their video about it anyway. And I gotta say, after seeing Cinema Therapy cover Luca and Coco, I can't help but feel like Pixar has gotten a lot more creative since what was his name? John Lasseter left. Could be just a offhand observation. It's a hot take for sure, but it is just something that I noticed. I actually haven't watched any new Pixar movies in a while, but if I'm going to be watching one anytime soon, I think I'd start with Coco first. Don't know yet. I've been avoiding giving Disney any of my money for a while for my own reasons. I will say, relating to making comics, one of the reasons why I shade with the colors layer off is because sometimes I don't entirely know what functionality it is in Clip Studio that causes it to do this. But every once in a while, if I have the color layer left on and I try to use the paint bucket tool to fill in a shaded area that I have outlined, the paint bucket tool will just be like, oh, you want the entire area colored in? I'll do that. And I'm like, that's not what I wanted. I don't know what functionality that is. I don't know if it's just the software reading the colors kind of wonky or what's going on there, but I keep the color layer off because that just makes shading this thing so much easier. Catching up on comments. It's not Pixar, but Encanto is good. I saw a little clip of the Big Buff Ladies musical number, and whew, just a whew. I mean, I liked women with swords, but like, whew, you know. Oh, the last time I flew, the person in front of me was watching Coco. It was cute and came across well without the sound. Oh my gosh, yes. The sound though is like, okay, I'm only like intermediate Spanish, but like, y'all, Coco and its Spanish is like, mwah, so good. It does remind me, I kind of want to return to practicing Spanish. I was doing pretty good about it last year. I put a pause on it during National Novel Writing Month, though, because I didn't want to worry about making my language practicing goals on top of my writing goals. But now that things have settled down a little bit, I'm thinking about getting back into it. I did get a gym membership recently because I have mentioned this a few times in other live streams, but I used to do weightlifting when I was in high school. I wasn't competitive by any means, but I mean, I was competitive with myself, but I wasn't competitive with like other people, and I didn't go into like tourneys or anything like that. But weightlifting was one of those exercises that made me go, oh my God, I actually don't hate doing gym stuff. Now, everybody's exercise that does that for them is going to be different. Um, some people like yoga, some people like just walking through the park. I do weightlifting. And for the longest time, I just couldn't make it work for budget reasons. Now, though, it's at a point where I can actually afford to go to the gym and have a gym membership. And that's been really nice. The gym that I joined, there's actually a location between my apartment and the craft store that I currently work at part time. So, in the like hour after I leave my morning shift, because it's all morning shifts, it's like the shifts at this craft store start at like 6 a.m. and then they end at 10. It's part-time, but it's there to help cover gaps so that I don't have to run DoorDash or Instacart, because you want to spend a lot on gas money, just do DoorDash or Instacart as a job. I also needed something a little bit more consistent than DoorDash or Instacart, because like Instacart and DoorDash can be lucrative, can be. They're not always. Some days you make $24 an hour, other days you make less than 10. I needed something a bit more consistent. So I just sucked it up and got a part-time job at the craft store down the road from me. There is a gym halfway between that and my apartment, so I signed up for a membership there, and now I'm getting into the habit of whenever I'm done with my morning shift at the craft store, I just go to the gym for like 30 minutes to an hour. I originally wanted to go for just 20 minutes at a time, but by the time that I get going, an hour has passed, and I'm like, okay. So an hour it is, I guess. But I work out for like an hour and I'm pretty much set. Oop, just tossing my pen. Don't mind me. Today was abs and back day. I would have done all abs completely, but there's only so many exercises that you can do to exercise your abs. And there were other muscle groups that I wanted to exercise. So I just made it abs and back just so I could get the full torso exercised. Tomorrow is going to be butt day. Then the day after that, when I make it to the gym, it's going to be leg day. Like I'm going to be working in like increments down my body. And then once leg day is done, start back up at the top. Arm day, chest and back day, butt day, leg day. Cycle through. That's what I have in mind. Lots of suplexes. Heck yes. The kind of shading that I do in just about all of my comics is cell shading. That's where you draw an outline and then you just fill in the space. Um, you see it a lot in anime and some video games, particularly the early stuff. Like my favorite Zelda game of all time, Zelda the Wind Waker, has cell shading in it. I know that game gets a lot of flack from gamers, mostly because when it was first advertised, there was a teaser trailer for a very different kind of Zelda game, and fans were expecting one thing and delivered another. This is the best way to put it. I did not follow any kind of gaming news at the time. So, like, just seeing that Zelda the Wind Waker existed made me go, this is different from Ocarina of Time. And I had played Ocarina of Time very briefly when I was like, I don't know, 8 or 9 ish. Uh, as a kid, I was very confused because it was not a PS1. Uh, PlayStation was the only game system that my family had because it was the only one that we could afford. Um, so right off the bat, the control scheme for Ocarina of Time threw me for a loop because I was like, how does this work? How does any of this work? Why is there a uh why is there like a central knob, and why is that the thing that I use to move around? What's the directional pad even for? Why is the directional pad all the way to the left? What is going on? The entire thing just threw me off. And the game itself, the section that I played when I was a wee tot was the Deku Tree bit when you're Kid Link. It's like the first ever dungeon that you come across. And I remember being like utterly confused by the entire thing. So I did not revisit Ocarina of Time until I was much older. Um, that experience was my first encounter with Zelda, and then I did not come across any games again until Wind Waker. And I will be perfectly honest, Wind Waker is like the only Zelda game that I have ever played to completion, much less played to completion multiple times. It's also one of the few video games that I have played to completion multiple times because, like, I don't get that many video games because I'm not that much of a gamer, but the games that I do get, I make sure I get some longevity out of them. No, if you want to talk about like people who are way more into gaming, just talk to my younger sibling. The writer for Seeing Him, which, yes, I am looking to get Seeing Him into a PDF and putting that PDF for download on my Ko-fi shop. Because right now it's not available to read online anywhere. It's like a curse Seeing Him has, because like every website that Seeing Him has been on eventually shuttered its doors. Like the first place that it posted, I want to say it was like Pink Dollar Comics. It's been so many years, but that site closed down once Seeing Him wrapped up. Then I uploaded the comic onto Smack Jeeves. Smack Jeeves no longer exists. And I'm just like, I don't want to post this anywhere else out of fear of just shutting down the next thing that it goes on. Now I'm nervous that if I post a PDF of seeing him up on Ko-fi, that Ko-fi is going to shut down. And I don't want that to be real. I like Ko-fi. Every once in a while, I'll hear a noise in my kitchen that sounds like a pop, and I don't know what causes it. But every once in a while, I'll hear it. It's like once a day. Not that frequent. It's very weird. I wanted to get more adventurous with textures this time around with new punk signal. So I put some textures on the headband, the overalls, the jacket, the leggings. Like, I'm going to do my best to push myself with this particular comic when it comes to textures. I mean, I'm going to do the same thing with The Legend of Jamie Roberts. I'm going to push myself to experiment more. There we go. All right, that takes care of the left-hand side of that panel. Just going to catch up on comments real quick. I rarely complete games. I finally completed Skyrim recently after playing it for years. It was disappointing. I have completed Final Fantasy, the original, many times. Yeah, I've heard that the ending for Skyrim is disappointing. Probably because Skyrim's appeal is in doing everything but the plot. Like, it is nothing but side quests. It's kind of like Zelda Majora's Mask in that way, because Majora's Mask is for sure a timed mission, but it is also almost exclusively about the side quests. Because if you play it just for the plot, it's short and disappointing. And I get the impression that Skyrim is a lot the same way. Like, you do it for everything but the main plot. Let's add some shadows to Kyle over here. Okay. Color layer on for a second, because just wanted to double check what was background, what was Kyle. Oop. Okay. I'll probably add some atmospheric effects to this first panel because it's night and outdoors. Realistically, I should have colored the outside shots very differently, like different color palettes and everything, but I did not do that this time around. I will likely be doing that for other comic projects, just maybe not this one. I don't know. I would like to practice coloring scenes differently depending on the atmosphere, like maybe using a different color scheme for nighttime scenes. Like, I do want to practice that more, because It's not something that I practice enough. I mean, what I do works, but I really want my stuff to pop more. You know what I mean? The paint bucket tool is just so much easier to work with. Oh, we're gonna make Rolando pop a little bit more over here. We're gonna add a little black for some deeper shadows. I mean, it is night, so the shadows would be like a deeper, almost black. There we go. That works. Actually, with that in mind, I'm going to add a little more shadow over here. Nope. That'll work. Okay. Back to shades. I think we'll keep today's stream short, like an hour maybe. Hopefully everything will be shaded in by the time that's done. I have basically the same steps for every comic project that I do. I work on it page by page. And in those pages, I pencil it, then I ink it. Then there's two steps that I do interchangeably, depending on how I feel. One step is adding in the flat colors, one step is adding in the shadows. Sometimes I'll do shadows first, then color flats. Other times I do color flats, then shadows. I did that with New Punk Signal. I did color flats first. After the colors, both of those steps, I letter it. Then I format the art for both print and publishing in webcomic format. Schedule it, and it's good. circling back to gym memberships for a sec, I wanted to originally wait a little bit longer because I didn't want to be one of those people that signed up for a gym membership right around New Year's. But I signed up for a membership anyway because, for one thing, the finances finally worked in my favor to make it happen. For another thing, it got to a point, exercise wise, where a home workout can only do so much to get the kind of results that I wanted. And I knew that the kind of results that I wanted, I would need to do some weightlifting. And you can only really do weightlifting at a gym of some sort. So I was just like doing what I could to make getting a gym membership actually happen. And now it's actually happening. So far, it has done wonders for my mood. Like, I am a lot less anxious about things. It also makes me crave sugar a little less. Don't know why that is. Oh, excuse me. I have been up since 5 in the morning. Technically, a little earlier, if you want to include how Bree woke me up. Little hellion. I love her, but like, she's a little hellion. It's because she doesn't live with Scarlet anymore. And Scarlet's not around to boss her around. So now Bree is just like, I will do whatever I want. And that includes scratching the walls at 4 in the morning so that I can demand my num-nums. It's like, Cat, could you not? Trying to get some sleep? Though I can now categorically say that I am now that brand of dude bro nerd that weightlifts and plays Dungeons and Dragons. That is now my life. I am also that category of nerd that exercises a lot and also knits. I'm making progress on my sweater, by the way. I haven't measured out the sleeve that I'm working on currently, but I did add another stripe of color on there. I'm kind of measuring this sweater by stripes because I'm making it with a rainbow yarn, and the rainbow yarn changes its color every so often. So I've just been measuring my progress on it by if the color has changed or not in the time that I've worked on it. And last night I added a new row of color on there. I will say, working at the craft store is it is a test in impulse buying and not actually impulse buying. Because right now, yarn is on clearance. And there's a lot of yarn that is available that I want to get because not only is it on clearance, but there's enough of the colors that I like that I could get multiples for more sweater projects. But I don't have the funds to get those. So it is a test of looking at it, but not buying it. It's been interesting because we keep getting Christmas stuff. We are still getting Christmas stuff, even though Christmas is already done. So all of it is now like 70% off. We also still have Halloween stuff that's now 80% off, which is just redonkulous. But the supply chain snags are very much real. Part of the reason we didn't get Christmas stuff until now-ish is because it was being held up at port, and we just didn't get it until now-ish. Oh, I'm going to revisit her face. Hold on. There we go. Okay. That's much better. I am also hoping to live stream more on Instagram and TikTok. You can find both of those links on my link tree. I will share that in a second. Linktree/KelseyD. If I'm going to be streaming on other platforms outside of my usual Tuesday, Saturdays now, it'll be on either Instagram or TikTok. Ooh, cotton yarn was my favorite. I used to get it from a small knitting shop. So soft and cuddly. There's a yarn store in my old college town, and my old college town is like 30 minutes away from me. I kid you not. There's been times where I've been really tempted to just drive down there and go yarn shopping just to see what they have, and see if there's any new textures that I want to like knit with. I haven't bought anything there yet. I was actually in that area yesterday because I drove down there wanting to pick up I wanted to pick up my art that's on display at Ice Tier Brewing right now, but apparently they're closed on Mondays, so I wasn't able to pick it up. Yarn vlog. I mean, don't tempt me. I've had the thought of doing a little side Instagram of just my craft projects, but I've never moved forward on it because, like, that just takes it one step closer to wanting to monetize it, and I don't want to monetize knitting and crochet because, like, those hobbies are just for me. It is just to make stuff that I want to make. This is my cat in a nutshell. Destroy God and demand num-nums. That is Bree. That is Bree every waking minute. +1 to yarn vlog. Oh, you two are a bad influence on each other and on me. Oh my geez. I mean, currently I'm posting on Instagram like the art stuff that I do and some of the personal stuff that I do. Cause like here's the thing about my Instagram account. It was very businessy during most of 2021, but I actually can't run it as a business account. I cannot run my Instagram as a business account because I no longer have a Facebook page, and it requires a Facebook integration for it to become a business. I left Facebook in 2020 because I really disagree with the platform and what it stands for and the things that it has enabled, including and not limited to what happened on January 6th last year. Do not endorse it. Do not like it. Did not want to give any more of my attention to Facebook, so I left the platform. I have not been back on there since then. I do keep my Instagram page, and I've actually considered possibly just deleting the Instagram. I've actually given that some thought. I have not moved forward on that, obviously. partly because the people who liked my stuff who followed me on Facebook mostly moved over to Instagram once I announced that I was leaving Facebook. They made the migration over to Instagram. Um, and still more joined my email newsletter, but you can also join my email newsletter. Regardless of whatever social media platforms that I use or don't use, the email newsletter is the best way to find out new stuff and keep track of new stuff, including new sales. Hint, hint, wink, wink, plug, plug. But I did seriously consider deleting my Instagram page at one point. I have not. I actually removed it from my phone during my social media hiatus last month, and I only just put it back on my phone like yesterday. I will say, Instagram makes me practice drawing more, so I'm not completely eager on getting rid of the app. Because like I follow a lot of artists on Instagram, and seeing what they draw makes me go, I want to break that down. And I do studies off of their art, and that's how I practice. um, I just keep tabs on other art peeps, and sometimes I copy down what it is that they do. Other times I just draw based on whatever it is that they worked on. So I'm not completely eager on getting rid of Instagram because as an artist, there's still some value in there for me. Um, which is weird to say because a lot of other artists that I sometimes follow will admit that they get caught up in the comparison trap and they're like, oh, but I don't draw as good as they do. Oh, I'll never be able to reach this level of artistic achievement. I don't do that. I mean, hardly at all. Like, there will be like, how do I phrase this? 99% of the time when I work at other people's art and my perception is, oh, this is better than the work that I do, my next thought is, what did they do and how can I replicate it? That's where my thought process goes. This apparently makes me very different from most other artists. Can't tell you why, but I just like looking at other people's art and being like, how did they do that? How can I replicate it? It gets my puzzle solving brain going because I like puzzles. Of course, I was also that weirdo kid that apparently it takes people a while to internalize the message of be yourself, as cliche as that is, but like how I interpret that as is basically there is only one you, and not everybody has the same experiences or exposures that you do, and not everybody has the same taste as you, and that's fine. That does not mean that you are better or worse than other people. It just makes you different, and different is good. And I internalized that lesson fairly early on. That idea of let your freak flag fly, as it were. Not everybody gets to internalize that like right away. most people that I know are fairly comfortable in their own skin. So, like, if you're a watcher of this video, especially on the replay, because this will be available as a replay after it plays live. Like, yeah, these are live streams, but they will archive, and the VOD will be available for a limited time on Twitch, but permanently on YouTube, unless I choose to delete it. I haven't deleted any of my live streams yet. We'll see how long that lasts. Okay, there's a large surface area that needs shadowed in with Mike and Steve in panel 2, so I'm going to use the lasso tool just to make that a little easier. Working in one big, broad section at a time. I do love that in last week's live stream, when I was talking about New Punk Signal, the comic that I'm working on right now, my friend Chloe, who was in the chat, was just like, is this the story with the himbos? And I'm like, yes, this is the story with the himbos. In fact, I pitched this live stream on Instagram as, yes, I'm doing the final touches on the story with the himbos. Hey, if it's a marketing tactic that'll work, I'ma own it. But also, it is accurate. It is a story about two himbos, and they are doing their heckinest. Okay. Big, broad areas. I'm going to add a little texture here. Or maybe not. I don't know. Okay. I'm actually really glad that I made the switch to making comics digitally when I did, because I live in an apartment now. I don't have that much space to work with to store traditional pieces. But I have a lot of storage on my digital spaces, so that works. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. Um, the freezing of "Let Your Freak Flag Fly" made me think of a episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000, because the final episode that a character in the show makes his appearance, he says that as like part of his closing words. Um, I feel like everybody who's watching right now knows what Mystery Science Theater 3000 is, but in case you don't know, it's a dude and two robot puppets riffing off of really bad movies. And I mean like really bad movies. Like if you've heard of Ed Wood, Ed Wood might as well be Steven Spielberg in terms of quality compared to some of the stuff that they make riffs off of. The first episode that I saw, um, in retrospect, this was a weird episode to introduce me on, considering some of the little bits that happened between the movie. Mystery Science Theater 3000 did an episode on Space Mutiny, which is hilariously awful. Like, that movie had 3 editors, and none of the editors caught that they accidentally left a dead character in the final cut in one scene. Like, character dies, action sequence, cut to a next scene, and the character that just died is in that scene in the background, and none of the editors caught it. It is hilarious. That's surprising. Usually, because I'm streaming on StreamYard right now, usually StreamYard gives me the ability to like block users or delete comments or anything like that. There is a very obvious spam comment on the Twitch channel, and it's not giving me any options for deleting it. So I'm going to need to figure out that. Himbo heroes dancing their way through saving the world. Yes, absolutely. Funny story. Mike and Steve were actually inspired by this was a trending video way back in the day, and it was basically a meme, but like 2 white dudes dancing to Bollywood music. Like, there's a video of 2 white dudes dancing to Bollywood music, and those were the guys that I had in mind when CB and I came up with Mike and Steve. And I was like, but CB, what if himbos? I also had 2 white guys dancing to Bollywood in mind when I came up with Thomas and Daniel in The Legend of Jamie Roberts. Full disclosure. I do need to purchase followers. Yes, I will tell you what, like, everybody keeps popping into my mentions being like, buy followers, and I'm like, I don't want to. Like, you can advertise that service to me all you want. I'm not interested in buying followers. I'd rather do it organically through my wit and my stunning charm. Because if you have to buy followers, you're doing something wrong. Like, yeah, the organic method does take a while, like a longer while than just buying followers, I guess. That said, I would rather do it the long way because I want people to stick around. If you buy followers, the followers that you buy are going to leave as soon as they catch on that you're not making anything decent. So if you want to get like a really high follower count and you want that to stick, make the stuff that you want to make, not the stuff that the supposed algorithm really likes. Because if you're chasing the algorithm, as soon as the algorithm changes, you are screwed. Just ask anybody who did unboxing videos regarding children's toys on YouTube. And then the algorithm changed and they were like, where's our ad revenue going to come from now? And it's like, that's what you get. That's what you get. You come correct or you get corrected. Um, Scott McCloud actually put it another way in his book, Making Comics. He said, just because you chose to sell out does not mean anyone is going to buy. This is very true in comics because comics is already kind of a passion project field in and of itself. Like, I could make whatever is popular currently. I'm not going to because there are people right now who are making what's popular right now and they have a passion for it. So, like, I'm not going to work on something that's quote unquote popular if I'm not interested in it. When it comes to comics, you really got to pick something that you're going to stick with for the long haul because you like it. At the end of the day, that's the most important thing. You stick with it because you like it. Why do you think I made The Legend of Jamie Roberts about dragons and pirates and magic? I mean, aside from the fact that this is the story that 14-year-old me would really want to read, like, those are the things that keep me interested and makes me want to make more pages about it. If you're an aspiring creator and you're like, but other people have done the sort of things that I want to talk about, I want to make something original. And it's like, there's nothing more original than you. As Neil Gaiman put it, like, yes, those other stories exist, but they were not made by you. And I've actually talked about this in I think it's an upcoming episode on The Fourth Leg. I don't think it's out yet. Though it may be out by now. The Fourth Leg is a podcast that I am a part of, giving GMs or game masters a new leg to stand on, or like a good leg to stand on. I'm getting the marketing pitch goofed up. Anyway, it's a podcast. It is available on most streaming platforms. We've had some hiccups with Apple Podcasts, but it's available on Spotify and other places. So give it a listen if you like. The Fourth Leg. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We're already at season 2. Okay. So I'm going to show my hand here. The inks for Cash and Roxy in panel 2 here are actually just copy pasted from one of the Roxy comic strips that I did. I did some tweaks, obviously, because like there were some background elements that were not in that original, and also their feet had gotten cut off at the bottom of the panel. But this is still like 90% from another panel in another comic, and I just copy pasted it. I'm thinking I'm going to be doing the same thing with the shadows because that is going to save me a lot of time if I do that. This is another reason that I am really glad that I moved to a digital workflow when making comics, because it does make copying and pasting things so much easier. Talking about purchasing followers, or need to purchase my following capacity. Yeah, because you follow a lot of stuff there, Carlos. Like, a lot of stuff. Like, I'm amazed that you can keep track of it all. That, like, do you put them into groups? Like, are you able to do that kind of functionality depending on whatever social media network that you're on? Like, are you able to do that? Because honestly, with everything that you keep tabs on, it's kind of impressive. All right. I'm going to cheat a little bit. let me bring up the original comic that Cash and Roxy are in. Okay. We're going to get to the shade layer, and we are going to just I was going to do the rectangle marquee, but I think I'm going to do the lasso marquee because that's just easier. Let me select it again. I drifted a bit. There we go. Okay. Copy and paste. Okay, I'm going to need to shrink this down to make it fit, but still. This is going to save me some time. The fun part is it looks like you're watching a newspaper comic being assembled, because newspaper comics would have like different colors on different layers, and sometimes the printing would be kind of offset. So like cute little callback going on here. Okay. Let me look at the original. I would look at the original, but I can't do that right now. Hold on. Let's make sure the lines all match up. Kind of looks like they do. Okay. Trying to figure out, hold on. There we go. I had to tweak it a bit, but okay. There's two layers, shades and shades copy. We're going to bring those opacities up to 100% real quick, merge them, get them back to 35. There. Better. Catching up on comments real quick. Getting back to it. Gonna do lasso to just do a little squiggly outline of the shadows of these figures on the floor. And polish that up a little bit. Oh, geez, I just realized what time it is. It's, as of this recording, it's at least 10, 11 minutes after 3. I think, well, okay. Let me finish up the shadows on this second panel here, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Making some progress. I also appreciate Carlos and Jessica. I appreciate the both of you chiming in and hanging out. Also, Callie, thank you for hanging out as long as you did. If you're still hanging out, that's awesome. If not, no big deal. I'm hoping that this proved at least helpful as background noise whilst y'all did whatever it is that you're doing. I know I sometimes just turn on projects just to have background noise when working on things. There's just something about it that makes my neurodivergent brain be like, yes, finally, some noise to have going on to occupy the parts of my brain that would rather keep talking. I was thinking earlier today, because I know why my brain got onto this train of thought. I was thinking of Wizard of Oz, and there is an ex who I would rather not talk about, but his mom was like singularly obsessed with Wizard of Oz. And there's just something about Wizard of Oz that made me go, what is it about Wisconsinites that makes them so obsessed with this movie? Because I've met other Wisconsinites who are singularly obsessed with Wizard of Oz. I would like to know what the logic is there. Like, really, genuinely, like, what is going through your head that makes you go, yes, Wisconsinite, so must be obsessed with Wizard of Oz. Like, why is this a thing? But I was thinking about my ex for some godforsaken reason. He was a musician, and the thought that went through my head was, boy, am I really glad that I am not a working musician right now. As awful as it is to say, I'm sorry to all you musicians out there. It's just, this dude also did his damnedest to try to convince me to go into music with him, because he kept trying to convince me that it was a lucrative career option. And I don't know what he's up to right now, but I think it's fair to say that he's not making comics or doing live streams or anything pertaining to the creative fields. Like, I think that's fairly safe to say. I don't keep tabs on the dude anymore. But like, to the people out there who are doing well as musicians, cool. How the fuck? But I just enjoy making art, and I'm glad that I've been able to make that a successful career choice for the last like 8, 9 years, almost 10. Oh, catching up on comments. Callie, yep, still here. I really enjoyed this. Good. I'm glad you did. Acted like a body double, so I actually focused. Good. Whatever it takes to help you focus. Glad to help with that. It's no problem at all. It's funny because I know that I know the area that you're in right now, and y'all got hit with a lot of snow. We've also been hit with snow, just not as much as you guys. I hope you're staying warm. This was a fun stream as always. Well, thank you. I do my best. I blether a lot. All right. We're going to wrap it up here because it's 3:15. I have this last panel to do, but I'm losing focus. So let's remove that from the stream. Final thoughts. Prints are still 50% off. Use the link in the doobly-doo or at linktree/KelseyD. I am toasty. That's good. I'm glad that you are toasty. I'm doing okay. I still got my tea in my Help It's Again mug. This was gifted to me for my birthday last year. It's adorable. I love it. I'm pretty sure it's hand wash only though. So I've just been hand washing it anytime that I got to clean it. But yes, prints are 50% off. I want to find these things new homes so that I can make more room for new art. So check that out. Use code NEWYEAR, link below. Check it out. 50% off prints. It's great. A lot of the prints are kind of oddball sizes though. So if you're looking to get them framed, keep that in mind. All the dimensions for each piece are on the piece listing itself. So I'm not going to go through that entire roster. Other than that, I will be streaming it again this Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Same channels, though. So I will be streaming here at 2 p.m. EDT Saturday. Still going to be making comics. Follow me on social medias and whatnots at linktree/KelseyD. That's pretty much all I got. As soon as New Punk Signal is ready to be released online, I will keep you all posted. Right now, we're building up buffer. Kind of like how I'm building up buffer for Puzzle Spell, which is another webcomic that I do. I'm also working on buffer for The Legend of Jamie Roberts. The Legend of Azumi is still going, and you can read that at thelegendofjamieroberts.com. It's a mini comic, so it's going to have an ending. As soon as The Legend of Azumi wraps up, The Legend of Jamie Roberts will resume. Now, when Jamie Roberts comes back online, it's going back to a once-a-week update schedule. I was updating Azumi twice a week because it was being done in black and white, and black and white comics are so much faster to produce. Yeah, buff that buffer. Yes, and also buff the body. Yes. Why do you think I go to the gym now? That's kind of all I have for now. Take care of yourselves. Stay toasty if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. Drink tea if you like tea. Drink coffee if you like coffee. Just stay warm, whatever it is that you do. Just find a little bit of joy in your life. Life's too short to be miserable. And that's it. Check out all my stuff. Links in the doobly-doo. Thank you all for watching. You are awesome.